It's a global church, and so we have a Ghana branch here. Globally, we are over 20 million. In Ghana, we are about 500,000 members. People know us for worshiping on Saturday. So that's just one of the things we do. We are also a health-conscious people. So we have a temperance message insisting that our bodies are God's temple, so we have a responsibility to keep it. We also, one of the key beliefs which differentiates us from other Christian denominations is also what we believe about death. We believe that when you're dead, you're dead. You don't go into heaven looking down below on your loved ones. So that's another area where we differ. But fundamentally, we believe Christ died for us, and it's by his merit that we have salvation.
On December 7, Ghanaians will be heading to the polls to choose their parliamentary and presidential leaders. Looking at what's happening this year, it appears history is repeating itself. In 1996, the elections were held on a Saturday, and this year as well, the general elections will be held on a Saturday. Coincidentally, that's the day that you worship. It will obviously be a challenge to your members, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's a problem. That's a problem for us. In 1996, Ghana, 7 December fell on a Saturday, and Adventists were torn between going to church and voting. Admittedly, religion and politics are two very passionate items. So when you ask somebody to choose either or, you create a problem if they want both. And that's why it's a problem for Seventh-day Adventists who vote. We are not a people who don't vote, we vote. And so we want to vote. So to have December 7, 2024 being a Saturday poses a big challenge to us, especially for those who do not want to go against their religious convictions and yet also want to vote for their candidates. Voting is a civic responsibility. Honoring the Sabbath is a godly responsibility. That's how we see it. As enshrined in the 10 Commandments, he says you have 6 days to do all your work, but you have to rest on the Sabbath day. And you know, sometimes people don't understand, but in that commandment, it says that the Sabbath day is the Sabbath of thy Lord. If it were mine, I would decide on what to do with it. But it's God's, and he says on this day, don't do this or do this. So that's where the conflict comes up. And that's why we think that if there's anything that can be done to change the date, it will help our members.
And now we know that you've sent your petition to the Electoral Commission detailing your concerns and what it is, the challenges you have about December 7th and the need to either move the date to November or try and get a date that will not be a Saturday. Have you taken any other step to raise your concerns to the state and to put across your demands?
I think we've started this about advocacy since 2021. In December, in 1996, the initiative to have a change or have some special dispensation started rather late. So we left it to members to decide whether to vote or not. So with that as a background, we thought that let's start it early. So in June 2021, we actually had an appearance with the President of the Republic and placed before him our concerns. So he also raised the constitutional issues that may come up and the steps, but obviously gave his support because his government or no government will want to deny its citizens the right to vote. Then in December 2021, there was opportunity for us to present a memo to Parliament, which we did, also reiterating the same points, asking for a date change. We followed that up subsequently by writing to the Electoral Commission in February last year indicating or making a proposal for a change. What we were proposing was not for a date change, but we were proposing a day. So we proposed in our submission to the EC the first Tuesday or a Tuesday in November or December of 2024. Now we did this against the background that in our recent past, 2011, there were attempts, there were recommendations that there needed to be some election day changes. In 2015, the commission, the late Atamils put together, also made recommendations. Our Transition Act also advocates for an election day change. And then in 2016, there was actually a bill in Parliament, which unfortunately did not garner the majority vote, also asking for a change from December to November. But most parliamentarians thought that EC could not organize an election a month earlier. So we are riding on the backs of these earlier attempts. But in our case, the difference is that, or our addition to this call is that we're asking for a Tuesday in either December or November.
So categorically speaking, what are the demands that you've placed before the Electoral Commission?
The word demand is very serious. So I would say it's a petition we put before it. In February, we wrote asking for a meeting. So we met in June, the Electoral Commission, and the same proposal that because we want to ensure our members enjoy their civic right, we are asking if in their consideration of a date change, instead of just saying a change from December to November 7th, we are asking them to consider the day, which is a Tuesday. So that's the proposal we put before the Electoral Commission, that if they're considering a day change, we would ask that they use the Tuesday. And interestingly, if you've paid attention to the by-elections that we've had last year and the recent district assembly elections, we all held on Tuesday.
Okay. There's another challenge that is likely to emerge. Ghana, looking at the demographics, has over 70% of its population being Christian, except that the church, your church, is in the minority group. There is this fear also that if your demands are granted, it will open the floodgates to other religious groupings, other religious bodies to also make demands for an amendment of the day. There are other faiths that also worship on a weekday. Have you taken all of this into consideration, and don't you feel that your demand would rather divide than unify all of us as a country?
No. And that's why in our approach, and I think I forgot to mention that, we met with the chief imam, because our advocacy is that it should not fall on any religious day, Saturday, Friday, or Sunday. Even though the others might not raise an issue as we are doing, it's still a conflict, because sometimes you stand in the queue on election day for a long time before you get to cast your vote. And so that's what we're advocating for. We've met with the chief imam, we've written to all the religious major organizations, we've met with all the political parties as well. So it's not just demanding a change for Seventh-day Adventists, but we think that it should not be held on any religious day. And our choice of Tuesday is also because traditionally, along the coast, most fisher folks don't go fishing on Tuesday. So we think that it allows for, it caters for everybody's interest.
I see.
Yeah.
The fear is that you are